Legend says you can get all the gold you would heart's desire in Hokkaido. Local Ainu tribes hoarded this wealth for themselves in retaliation against the Japanese oppression. One man decided to slay all these Ainu tribe elders and take all the gold for himself. He didn't get far though, for the authorities captured him and imprisoned him in Abashiri prison on the edges of Japan. Little did they know, though, that this man took those secrets with him and only shared it with very few individuals inside this prison. Via tattoo. This is Golden Kamuy.
Welcome back to Brotaku Retrospective, your weekly show where we review a season of an anime, give you the pitch, come watch it with us. I'm Eddie Friels.
I'm Clint Osman.
This week we are reviewing Golden Kamuy. Take it away, Clint.
Yeah, so heads up, this is a little more of a mature title. It's pretty graphic in its animation styles. I would say it's just more of like gore.
Don't let your kids in the room for some of these scenes. Like, it is animated a little more intensely than some horror animes I've watched.
It definitely is. I mean, it kind of took me by surprise too, like watching it casually and I like not expecting it, you know. So.
It is tasteful though. I feel like it does enhance the story at the points where it happens.
Gives it a sense of realism.
Yeah, and as you go down the ride, season one's pretty tame, but down the road, oh boy.
They just take off with it.
So you've been warned.
Yep. So getting into our first episode here, Wenkamuy. So we are kind of introduced to a conflict between the Japanese and the Russians and the Russo-Japanese war going on in the early 1900s, late 1800s, I want to say, in that time frame. And we get shots of, Japanese soldiers and Russian soldiers, going at it on the battlefields. Japanese soldiers are in the trenches trying to, take the hill, I think is what this first episode is showing. And we get cut into a few soldiers in the trenches. And we get our star character of the show here, Sugimoto. The immortal Sugimoto! Immortal Sugimoto! And pretty much he is like goes Super Saiyan and just goes nuts on the battlefield. I mean, this guy goes from the trenches all the way to the railgun on top of the hill. Like
this dude is level 100 endurance, level 100 willpower. It is just the sheer force of his being that he will not go down. He has a million battle scars for it, but like your Rock'em Sock'em Blop'em Punchbag Man, he just gets right back up.
I remember he uses the opposition's weapons, and then like when he runs out of ammo, he just clubs the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our introduction to the main character is very intense. It looks like it makes me think of like the D-Day scenes, like just them storming up, Gatling down the hill,
just raining down. Bodies are just like just getting nailed, and this guy's like, don't care. There's the target. I'm going.
I'm going home at the end of this. This is not where I'm taking the final sleep.
So we get kind of a time skip at the end of that, and then it cuts to the same guy panning for gold in a river.
Some years later, we don't know why he's left the army, but he has done had his time.
Clearly, they didn't get any kind of accommodations for being in that war either. So
no, he's still wearing his uniform around everywhere.
Yep, those are the clothes on his back, and that's literally what he walked out of that war with. So he's panning for gold, and some drunk comes up to him and gives him crap, and he's like, "Oh, soldier, eh? Like, what's your story?" I think, Sugimoto being Sugimoto doesn't gloat that much about it, and then
like have a little back and forth, and he's just like, okay, whatever, you crazy old coot, I'm trying to catch you.
He's like, oh yeah, I know who you are, you're the more Sugimoto, and gives him more crap, and then clearly this guy isn't getting the rise he would want to get out of our guy, and so he starts telling him about the story of the Golden Kamuy,
yes,
which legend says that all the gold you could want existed once upon a time in this part of Japan, and is plenty, tons of it. And the local indigenous tribe that was there would hoard all this gold because the Japanese were kind of just doing whatever the heck they wanted. And the Ainu were like, no, you need to do it in moderation. You need to do it our way, and this is the way it's been done for years. And blah blah blah. And so their conflict went back and forth, and then tribe elders got wiped out by one guy standalone, and that was a big no-no because that's going to start a war that Japan can't afford right now because of Russia. And so they sentenced this guy to life imprisonment, and like what I would consider like the Alcatraz equivalent in Japan. Like, you're out in the middle of nowhere, Abashiri prison.
And I'm pretty sure didn't they break his legs or something? So it was like, you are definitely not leaving here.
I want to say this will be kind of like explained later on in the show, but the Ainu punished him. I want to say
season 2 spoilers. Hee hee.
So yeah, that guy gets in prison. He won't tell them where the gold is, and they continue to torture him. Of course, the prison guards are torturing the crap out of this guy, and he's not giving it up. He can't even tell anybody on the outside either, because they're gonna find out. They're gonna intercept the messages some way, somehow. I mean, so what defaults to do apparently is tattoo a map on a bunch of different people within this prison of where to get all this gold that he's kind of stolen from the Ainu tribe elders. And of course, when our guy hears this, he's like, that's BS. That's a load.
Right. Ghost story. Ghost story.
He's like, whatever, dude. Go to sleep.
Right.
And he does fall asleep. And then I think our guy gets tired too, because he's just, I don't think he's eaten in days either or something.
I was going to say, don't they drink at the campfire until Sugimoto passes out?
Yeah. He shares his wine with him, and Sugimoto's like, yep, knocks out. And then next thing you know, like, the old man's like gone, and he takes, what does he take? He takes something from our boy Sugimoto. I can't remember what it was. He doesn't get that far.
Yeah. The Sugimoto chases after him and comes across a big pile of snow that looks like a stockpile where a bear would store some food with a head popping out of it. And so Sugimoto's like, I'm going to get my stuff back, starts digging through the snow. Lo and behold,
tattooed body.
There's something more to that story. And so about this point, I believe we're introduced to our second main character.
Yeah, Sherpa? Yeah. Because she's kind of like, yo, don't touch that body. That's like bear food.
Yes, that's right. So we have a bear fight episode 1.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, there is a bear roaming the woods because it's not hibernating. And that's like, a Sherpa explains it better than I'm going to. But essentially, if a bear fails to hibernate, it becomes super irritable and super hungry, of course, because this is like their peak of the metabolism, I believe.
Yeah, and it's wintertime, so there's like no food available. So yeah, they'll go for whatever's around. And so, yeah, bear goes to attack Sugimoto. Sugimoto fights back, and our Sherpa shoots it with a poisoned arrow.
Yep. And she cuts that piece out around it, too, because she's like, yeah, you don't want to ruin the rest of the meat, guy. He's like, what are you doing?
Then she also tells him, she's like, I'm not going to eat this bear.
Yeah, because it's what is known as a Wankomui.
Yes. So
bad bear.
In the Ainu legends, if animals eat people, they become corrupted. And you don't want to eat corrupted food sources, so they...
Yeah, in the Ainu language, Kamui means God. Just a little language lesson for you.
So they end up scrapping the bear, leaving it back there, and a Sherpa and Sugimoto basically set up fire for the night.
They camp out.
Get to know each other a little better, you know. If nothing else, they're just like two people in the winter wilderness. Like,
yeah, she cooks for him, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, they do squirrel the cheetah top.
Cheetah top. Yeah.
Yeah, little
which
dish.
which is basically ground meat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they take out the squirrel brains and just cheetah top it, ground it up.
I love how they just say the words when they're doing cheetah top.
Yeah, that part I was always like, ooh, that's so fun. And so I think later in the night, a Sherpa starts to fall asleep, and they had realized earlier that the tattooed body, the way the tattoo was written was like along the lines that you would fillet the skin off, like if you were taking a pelt off an animal.
Yeah, these are puzzle pieces to the actual big thing. So yeah.
And so the only way to get the map is to remove the puzzle piece.
Mm-hmm.
So at night, Sugimoto strips that off the body, and I'm pretty sure that's how we wrap out episode 1.
Pretty much he tans and leathers the skin. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Yeah, there's that mature warning for you. And that takes us in.
A lot of it happened. That little bit happens off camera, thankfully. So.
Yeah. And that takes us, into episode 2.
Episode 2, Noparabo. So we get introduced to more of our characters.
Right.
This whole first season of the anime for Golden Kamuy is a setup of your cast of characters. The whole ride is this epic quest for this treasure, and there are several parties involved, and we're just getting set up and kind of meeting everybody at the start of this one.
Right.
So, Ashirpa and Sugimoto are looking to head to the nearest town, which is Otaru. Just find some information, see if they can find
tattoo prisoners. Yeah.
Yep. Ask around, see if anybody's had tattoos, get some supplies, that kind of thing. And I believe as they're gathering info through town, they're at like a local eatery, and someone overhears them talking about it, and we meet one of our next main characters. This dude is, to me, looks bald, like he's shaved head. He's always wearing purple, which is like the Japanese trope for bad guys. So you're already like, okay, scoundrel, sleazebag.
Yes.
Just super puffy. This guy's name is Shiraishi. He overhears our group talking about looking for a tattooed man, and he's kind of like moving around, sneaking around in the background, like, who are these people? I need to pay attention, but I also need to not draw attention.
Because the little thing about our guy Shirashi, he's actually one of the former escape. Yeah, so Prison Break happened, and a lot of guys escaped from the Abashiri prison. So, and all of them which were tattooed. This is part of the guy's plan. The guy that set this all up.
I feel like it was he overheard a Sherpa giving him grief about like not just sketching it on paper.
Right. Yeah. She's like, you could just draw it. Yeah.
You didn't have to do that.
Right.
And so he's like, okay, well, they have one, so I need to get that, but I also don't want to let them know I have it.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time.
And so we end up going through some shenanigans, chase through town, and I believe Shiraishi ends up with it for a small amount of time. So you're gonna have to help me out at this point. So we're in town, we're running around with Shiraishi. Towards the end, we're starting to like just meet more of the soldiers in town.
Yeah,
I feel like we're getting glimpses of the players.
In running after Shirashi, we kind of get glimpses of our key characters throughout the chase. So he bumps into some of the 7th, I want to say, in the street, and they're like, "What's going on?" I remember that they're being part of it, and he bumps into.
Doesn't he run into Tanigaki in the town?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about Tanigaki.
So Tanigaki Genjiro is one of the 7th Division soldiers who's kind of like an expert tracker, given his background of being like kind of like a wilderness-based kind of family, like brought up in the wilderness and stuff. Very big on hunting for sure. Then he for what I known is just part of a unit that's part of the 7th, and they're all just tasked looking for the tattooed, people via their orders from higher up that we'll find out about later. And he kind of gets sidelined a little bit on the second episode, and we get revisited in a couple episodes later. But more or less, he kind of gets part of the chase, more or less, but doesn't get too far into it. And I also want to think that Shiraishi also bumps into a couple of other former prisoners. I was
gonna say he also, I thought, doesn't he run into the sniper too in town? Because isn't that how it links us into what happens next?
Yes, yeah. So he bumps into some of the key soldiers from the 7th Division. I believe Ogata, yeah. He has like these kind of like bird eyes in a way, almost like Egyptian, the way they're kind of drawn.
To me, his stare, and it's kind of something that they do with a lot of especially the 7th Division characters. Mm-hmm. Like, none of them have pupils. It's just a solid black eye, like they've got the 1,000-yard dead stare.
Right, because they've seen some stuff, man. Mm-hmm. They've done some stuff. They're basically still soldiers that are, like, following orders of a pointless war that's getting them nowhere.
He's got the Pidgeotto cut.
Yes, yeah, he's got the Falco cut, yeah. He bumps into that guy, and they're like, what's going on? And then the chase leads to don't they chase Shirashi out into the wilderness eventually?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they leave the village.
He thinks he's gonna, yes, because he tries to hide in the outhouse on the outskirts, I believe, and a Sherpa's wolf finds him.
That's where the name comes from. I'm back.
Yep, there you are.
That was it. I kept forgetting. So Shiraishi's ability is he is like a master Houdini.
He's double jointed.
Yeah, he can escape anything. You can't keep this guy locked up. And so he is the escape king. Mm-hmm. But a Sherpa's first interaction with him was finding him in a toilet. So from this moment on, every time a Sherpa and a Shiraishi interact, she always calls him the Scat King.
Yeah, because the wolf does find him because he thought he was going to lose the wolf. Mm-hmm. He's like, nah, there's no way. You guys aren't going to find me. Because he kept trying to escape from them, and the wolf finds him.
Yep. Yeah, because the Sherpa's got a pet white wolf.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah. Everything's coming back.
Which is supposedly the last of its kind, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, so that kind of rounds out like the shenanigans of our second episode. Like, we learn more or less that there's other people obviously looking for this stuff, the skins or the tattoos of these prisoners.
They are not the only ones that know about the map.
Yep.
And so I think that's taking us into episode 3.
Yeah, so again, they're going through the wilderness, kind of living through, now they're getting chased by the 7th Division because they're involved now.
Right, because they end up making buddies with Shiraishi. So Shiraishi, Sugimoto, and a Sherpa are traveling as a group of 3.
Trio, yeah.
And I think at this point they've got 2 tattoos in their possession between Shiraishi and... because Sherpa draws a sketch of Shiraishi's
tattoo because he's like, okay, I'm cool with that.
And then Ogata and Tanigaki caught on to Shiraishi, and they're like, I remember him now. We need to go get him.
Right.
And so they track into the wilderness after Sugimoto's group. Mm-hmm. Tanigaki is like pseudo Ainu, which is where he got all of his hunting things from. So like him and a Sherpa are like basically balancing the teams out. Yeah. And it ends up being I
remember Sugimoto. Shiraishi just ditched them, I think, the next morning. Yeah. He did escape eventually, like at the dawn. Yep.
He
goes MIA.
He comes and goes and comes and goes and comes and goes.
So it's just a Sherpa and Sugimoto at the start of this, and they're getting chased throughout the forest. And I remember Sugimoto like saying like, because these dudes are on skis going after him too, I think. And he's like, we're not going to escape like this, I believe. And he's like, Asurpa, you need to go your different direction. Take the skins or the tattooed sketch with you. Keep it on you. I'm going to go this way and try to divert most of their forces this way, if not all. It was his plan. The 7th Division, I think these are some no-name guys that are going after him, though. I want to say because these guys could.
Because it starts out with, what is it? Ogata orders his lackeys like, "Hey, go get them."
Yeah,
And Bear.
yeah.
So yeah, they're chasing them down, and like Clint said, Sugimoto's like, "We're not. There's 3 of them. One of us. I don't have an idea to get us out of this. So divide and conquer." And
Asurpa does her thing, tries to go her separate way. We'll get to that later. Sugimoto goes, and he's running, and he sees a cave. And he remembers Asurpa, like when they were at camp together at night back on episode 1, 2, or 2, at the beginning of episode 2. She kind of tells him, like, about her dad. And
she tells him this story about how a bear won't attack somebody that willingly goes in their den. And she knows it's true because her dad did that. Mm-hmm. And so as Sugimoto is getting chased by these 3, he stumbles past the bear den. He's like, I gotta be crazy, but I don't have an answer. I'm dead if I stay. I'm dead if I jump.
I'm immortal, Sugimoto! As he's just screaming going in there.
Flies in the cave, and we go back to the perspective of the other 3 Yahoos, and
they're like, okay, this guy went into the cave. Yeah, are you gonna go in there? No, we don't need to go in there. Just shoot into the cave.
Take a shot in the cave.
Loud as heck.
And guess who they woke up? Oh, Mama Bear. And so the bear charges out of the cave, and this is where this content warning. They show exactly how that bear messes up them boys.
If you ever seen the movie The Revenant, yeah, this is like animated version of that. These guys get messed up by a grizzly bear.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was the point I was committed with this show. I was like,
yeah, the realism just sat in right there.
Pick my jaw back up off the floor. What did I watch?
So yeah, these guys are like fighting for their lives here and just getting like destroyed by this bear. And I want to say, doesn't Ogata take the shot after a minute? Mm-hmm. But the guy's getting mauled at the same time. No. That, or was that later on? No, that's later on. Never mind. I'm getting mixed up with the later episode, and I'll tell you why, because it's because of that miraculous shot.
Oh, yeah.
But so these guys get mauled by the bear, and I guess the bear more or less like moves on, I want to say, in a way. And Sugimoto's in the bear den, and he comes out with the cub. Oh no, the guys kill the bear, but after they get killed, I remember, because the guy that got his face knocked off, shoots, like, just lays in rounds into the bear. Mm-hmm. And then just...
Yep. Yeah, because there's only, like, 1 survivor out of that or something.
Yeah.
And he does not have a good time reporting back to the boss.
No, not at all. But, yeah, anyway, so Sugimoto comes out of the bear den, and he has a cub in his hands, a little bear cub. And then I think it cuts to Asurpa after that, and that's when Genjiro catches her, because he's an expert tracker. He's like, I know what you're doing, girl. Like, I grew up like this.
Bro, are we going to talk about how she got both of his legs?
Oh, yeah, like she knocked him off. Yes, I remember that. Like,
so in the first meeting, during her escape, old Mr. Tracker ends up with a broken leg after the end of that confrontation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was it the wolf comes and gets him?
Yes.
Yeah. Her white wolf protects him.
And that's where he gets hooked, because he's like, dude, I need to hunt that thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's right. So yeah. Sherpa is saved by her wolf. Mm-hmm. Wolf breaks his leg.
And she tells the wolf to go. I don't want you to get killed for my sake.
Get out of here.
Or no, she doesn't want the wolf to kill him.
Yeah, don't become a bad god.
Yeah, don't become a bad god.
And so...
she leaves him I want to say for dead, but I think he tries to get one on her, and like, doesn't he end up like falling into the the river down below off of a cliff or something?
I forget how he gets back to his people.
No, he does. For some, I think it was either Serpa or Sugimoto that did it, but like there was a struggle and he just went off the side of the cliff. Yeah, him and Sugimoto got into it and they were like rolling around and stuff. And of course, Sugimoto was kind of messed up too. But he ended up falling off the side of the cliff into the river, and they were like, well, that's the end of that guy. Well, little did they know, though, like, his division finds him, like, in the worst condition ever. They're like, that's wow, he stayed alive. But he's, like, a wilderness dude, so he had to have had, with a lot of grit, had to have some knowledge, like, keep warm in that.
Mm-hmm. So, and I'm sure he had the right layers for it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, and that's kind of where that episode kind of leans off on. Or no, I think it does a cutout to some other key characters at the end of this. I think we get introduced to our Shinsengumi dude. I want to say.
Are you sure? I thought maybe we get both him and Surumi this one.
Yeah.
Because we have Surumi coming in with the next episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, because, I mean, he's like, who did this to you?
Right, because that's what I thought I remembered at the end was...
Oh, it was Surumi then, yeah.
Yeah, because...
saying, who did this to you?
Yeah, like, they pick him up and he's... Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you see, he already looks weird, like, the big bad. Oh, he's like such a creepy big bad.
Yeah, and that takes us in episode 4, because then we find more about Surumi. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, because episode 4... After Asherpa and Sugimoto have gotten back together, she takes her back to his...
Yeah,
she takes him back to her village.
You're good.
Yeah, and meets grandma, meets all the little kids. I'm pretty sure this is the episode where we learn that in Ainu culture, they just give their kids ridiculous names until they come of age.
Oh, literally, yeah. Their kids will be named Poop.
Yeah, based on some pestilence, something they want to like go away from the kid. And yeah,
because it's supposed to scare off the bad spirits. They're just like, bad name.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with Poop.
It's kind of a childish little thing, but it's kind of funny. And then once they hit a certain age, like they figure out what to name them after,
based on what they've done, their traits, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and their personality and how they are. Yeah.
Sugimoto also finds out what happens with the bear cubs.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's pretty sad.
But it makes sense in the perspective of things, because, I mean, you can't really raise a wild animal like that. I mean...
Yeah, so in the situation where they came back with the bear, apparently the culture there is
they don't kill it. Like, they just let it, like, kind of have, like, the good last days that it's going to get, and then...
Yep, it gets a nice
farewell.
2 weeks, and
it gets a good farewell.
Purification fire.
Yeah.
And so... Towards the end of the episode, his name, Tanigaki stumbles into town with his one leg.
Yeah, I remember that.
Is what causes Sugimoto to go, we need to not be together. And so they split up again. And at the end of the episode...
Yeah, he leaves the village because he gets... The other people are like kind of iffy about him. And he's like, I don't want to ruin this for you, Sherpa.
And he's also like, this is going to be a dirty, violent road. Like, I'm going to taint you if you come with this.
He knows what soldiers have done. Mm-hmm. So
he tried to leave without saying anything.
Yeah. Kind of ticked her off.
Oh,
Sherpa was so mad, dude.
And it played out wrong because homie gets captured by the goons from the 7th Division. I think it's one of the survivors from the bear den excursion.
Yeah.
Out for revenge.
Yeah. He kind of gives them crap because I think it was like... Yeah, because I thought they were going to be key characters when I first watched the show, but there's like 2 twin soldiers, and he gives them both crap because he's just like, I can't tell you guys apart at all. Like, which one of you punched me in the gut?
Yeah, it wasn't until the one got punished from the bear den incident because
Yeah.
Lieutenant Surumi, our first meeting of him is punishment mode, and he takes his pocket knife and says, "No ears."
Right.
Because the bear got one ear, and he's like, "Oh, you're
Not
symmetrical."
symmetrical.
Took the other one for punishment. I was like,
yeah, this dude's like crazy. And I believe it. Yeah, we didn't talk about that scene where he's talking to that one general that came from like the main base and is like, "What do you think you're doing? Like, with all these soldiers out here and." You're supposed to be on the front lines, the Russians, and like the guy is going off, and then he's just like, bites his finger off.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry, I just couldn't help myself, and just the frontal lobe is gone after the explosion that happened.
I just can't control my anger. Things happen. I snap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, our introduction, I forgot, he is psychotic as all can be.
Very calm about it, though.
Let's say. This one, I feel like this anime on the whole is a little harder to remember on the like episode by episode basis because it's more of like a long form story.
It's got the Cowboy Bebop approach almost, where it's kind of like here's the journey and you're gonna have a lot of side moments happen, but ultimately it's coming together at the end.
Absolutely. So we might be doing a lot of time skips around this one.
Yeah. I just know that. Yeah, that was kind of like the crazy thing. I'm just like, this dude is the bad one. And I mean, it doesn't help that like half of his face is just gone from a grenade.
Yeah, he's got a steel plate on his head, which does not help with the crazy look and mustache.
Yeah, he has the really like arrowed out mustache, like just like a villain, dude. But yeah, so, I mean, we kind of go through that. He gets captured and is getting tortured because, they're like, you know what you're doing. Like you're after the skins, too.
We didn't find them on you. Where are they? We know you have some.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So, yeah, Sugimoto's holding his tongue and just taking the beating. And I think our boy Shiraishi finds out about it. And he's like, oh, no.
Yep. So that takes us into episode 5, Race.
Yeah. So since Rashi find out, he goes and tells the Serpa where Sugimoto is, and Serpa's like, "All right, we gotta go get him."
Yep. We're gonna go save our guy because he is the muscle of this operation. Nothing's gonna happen unless we have him.
But Sugimoto being Sugimoto, he's trying to figure it out on his own how to get out of there.
Yep. So there's like counter plans running the whole episode, and like nobody's plan synchronizes, so it ends up just being hilarious chaos. Like
it is, because what happens is he kind of plays into like the twins like being like angry with him, and they're just like, all right, let's have our fun with him. And
this show has no right being as freaking hilarious as it is. Like it is the most off the wall, gory, morbid, dark humor. Like for the amount of times I had to pick my jaw off the floor from like what the did I just watch to immediately get slapped in the face with the what the
yeah. So while Sugimoto's trying to figure out this thing, Aserpa and Shirashi are like collaborating on their plan. And Shirashi's like, if we could take one of those bars out of the window, I can double joint myself and like slip in between the bars. And
does he get like all oiled up and stuff too? So it's like glistening.
So he gets through the window, but Sugimoto's plan is coming into play, and the twins are on their way back to the room that he's in. And Shiraishi's like, telling Sugimoto like, "Hey, we're here to save you," and and Sugimoto's like, "What? Like, what are you doing here?"
It's like, you're messing up the plan, man.
What plan are you talking about? And before they can get into it, Shirashi has to get out of dodge because the door's being open. Lo and behold, it's the twins. And then this is where Sugimoto starts doing his thing. He starts talking mad smack on these two.
Sugimoto is such a good smack talker. Like, oh my god.
He's like, I can't tell you too. Oh, wait. What if he doesn't have ears? But which one of you punched me in the gut, though? Like, it's like, I want to get one of you back. And so they lose their crap. And one of them's like, hey, I'll walk out and keep watch if you want to, stick it to him. They decide to do that. And little do they know, Sugimoto's all ready for it. And doesn't he just like...
Yeah.
Boom!
Headbutt. And the whole time too, like that scene was making me cringe the whole time.
I was so amazed, like how he figured out, like if I use my full body, he does a front flip and breaks the chair.
Yeah, he's just on a weak wooden chair. Just,
yeah, boom, hands free, and then he's just at him, dude.
I feel like.
And then the other
Hugh
one
Jackman
comes in.
Wolverine is a good analysis for Sugimoto.
You got to keep in mind this guy's 5'9". And so he does this freaking flip, gets out of it, gets on the other twin. The other twin hears the commotion, like, what's going on? Gets in there. They're both trying to get him. And then, like, a bunch of shenanigans happens. And it gets to the part where Sugimoto's literally, like, punching one dude in the face and then going back and getting the other dude. Like, gah, 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 gah. Back and forth while, like, the guy's trying to stab him and kill him. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember. He finishes off, knocks out the one of them and, like, stabs the other with the bayonet, I believe, and kills him. Mm-hmm. Fast forward, so clearly Shiraishi and Serpa have to go along with whatever Sugimoto's planning, so they get out of there, I want to say. They pull out. And
didn't somebody kick a lantern over in the course of the scuffle?
Yeah, and it's like a fire's going on or something, yeah.
Right, because basically the building is like burning as they make their escape. It is 0% plan, 100% accident.
And then Tsurumi's coming in. He's like, what's going on here? And then the other twin's like in tears, like just like livid because Sugimoto killed the other twin. But he looks in dire straits too, because I mean...
And doesn't Mr. No Ears like become like a super Tsurumi worshiper after this event?
Yes, yeah. He relies so hard on Tsurumi to get the revenge that, you know... But Sugimoto kind of saves his hide and he's like, all right, I'm ready to talk. But he's just like, but he's in bad condition though. And then like, Tsurumi's like, you either die or you can tell me where it is and I'll get you help. And so Sugimoto's like, I don't got any other plan. And little did we know this is playing into it. I got no other way of getting out of this, so yeah, give me help. I'll tell you, where I hid the skins. So he gets carted off via horse or carriage to the nearest best hospital because Tsurumi's like, all right, get this guy medical attention, and he's going to tell us where this stuff is. So they get him all prepped and ready to go. He's taken off on carriage. Tsurumi's looking over the room and he's kind of putting like the pieces together. He's like, okay, I get the struggle and everything. And then he notices the other twin's body and he notices that there's bloody prints on the inside of his belt. And he's like, how did those get there? And then he opens his jacket and he's like, oh, no. And so apparently Sugimoto took the guts out of the other twin and put it in his coat. To make it look like he got cut open, so that way they ship him off to medical attention. And as this is starting to come to like fruition, he's rising up out of the cart that's getting pulled. It's a sled that's getting pulled, and he just hijacks the other guy, just throws him off the horse, and takes the horse. And this is when Tsurumi's like, after him.
That's right.
And then
I forgot all about that thing with the guts. That was one of the weirder moments of season 1.
Yeah. No, but it made a lot of sense. I'm like, oh yeah, that's so freaking cool in a dark way. God has saved his skin. And so I think that's where that episode 5 more or less ends, because he gets away from Tsurumi. Tsurumi lets him get away. He's like, I'll find you.
Yes, because as we move on, we're going back to... We're starting to get to the point where the episodes going forward are more of like the micro adventures along the line.
Yeah, it's kind of building up our key players for the rest of the story.
we've had a lot of our key players come in at this point. There's one that we have glossed over, so I'll just have a memory flash when he becomes more relevant, because I know you love him, but I don't remember where we see him to this point.
But yeah, we get into episode 6 next, which kind of starts us off on one of the key characters.
Yes. So this episode is The Hunter's Soul. We are taken back to Tanigaki, our tracker. He is taken to the Ainu village. He's healing up because the Sherpa messed up his leg.
Mm-hmm.
And while he is in town...
Yeah.
Man, I just am struggling with this whole one. I need to not take so long between A and B.
I think he...
Sorry. So how do we get between escape and the wolf hunt?
Because I know Ogata is like back on his feet. Like,
yes. He's had some enough amount of time to heal, and he has a leg brace. His leg's all tied up.
This is where he's with Ogata, I believe. Him and Ogata go out via Surumi's orders to go to the local Ainu village, I want to say, because somebody tipped him off about that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who. It had to have been our boy Genjiro. Like, he had to have been like, yeah, last I saw he was with an Ainu girl.
Right.
And that's why him and Ogata are together at first, going towards the Ainu village to, kind of look for him. And I think Ogata runs into our next prisoner that we meet later on via this hunt. Because, before he got mauled by the white wolf, which his name's Retar, I believe. And then he falls in love with it, and he's like, I need to hunt that thing, dude. I want to get that thing.
I want to kill the last one.
I'm just trying to think of how him and Ogata get split up some way, somehow, because I want to think, like, maybe they had some kind of exchange and they kind of part ways, and then Ogata's ends up traveling with this guy who ends up being one of the former Abarashi prisoners, and he kind of teaches him, like, more or less, like,
right,
his
he's
ways.
Like hunting elk or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's a shot of the rifle that he's using. He's like, that's a one shot. Who has that?
The conversation. He's like, man, that's an old rifle, dude. And then, like, the old guy gives him crap. He's like, yeah, you only need one shot, dude.
Mm-hmm. Hit it in the right place. One done.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're done.
Yeah. So this, like, they have that back and forth, the exchange on philosophical, like, they come together as hunters.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know that he's a former prisoner until, like, I want to say a later episode, but mainly he's learning the ways of the land, and while that's going on, I feel like that was playing more into the story of how rare those kind of wolves are, and they were thought to be extinct at that time. And then, like, that hunter guy's like, no way, you've seen one? Like, he's like, I want to get some of that.
Let me in on that.
They basically go on a hunt, and they go on a hunt for that thing in that episode. They're getting ready to take that wolf down.
I'm pretty sure that whole episode is just prep for the hunt.
Yeah.
Then episode 7, Complications, we start having the fallout of that decision.
Yes. Yeah.
So what we start out with the hunters trying to get synced up with Sugimoto.
Yeah. They run into him because they know because Genjiro knows that wolf follows that girl around, and Sugimoto's trying to protect Usurpa from being the bait, more or less.
Yeah, it's like, if we get her, we'll get him. Trying to use her as the bait.
Mm-hmm. And Sugimoto gets in the middle of it, obviously, being Sugimoto. He goes up against Genjiro, and former Abashiri prisoner, I believe. And I don't know what happens to Genjiro. I think God. I don't know if he gets mauled. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. So Genjiro gets knocked out or something. I can't remember exactly on that one, but I know the hunter was trying to get the shot in on the wolf. Mm-hmm. And he gets attacked by another wolf.
Yeah, he gets jumped by a gray wolf right as he's about to take the shot.
Yeah, that's for Tar's lady.
Yep.
Friends.
And so through the course, yeah, that's right. So through the course of the whole hunt, it's like cat and mouse between Sugimoto and the hunter and a Sherpa and the wolf.
Because this is mainly like, these two episodes are mainly like touching back on Genjiro's roots, because the hunter's telling like Genjiro, like, dude, the war's made you soft, man. Like, you don't have that hunter spirit in you anymore.
Right.
Like,
why do you need a soldier? Loaded, like, no, you get back to your roots, Tanigaki.
Yep. And so, like, near the end of the episode, that guy gets mauled by wolves and killed and left for dead. And then, Sugimoto does his thing and gets the tattoo from him. And I think that's when Tanigaki Genjiro becomes close with the gang.
Yeah, he's kind of switching sides, playing more for the Sugimoto Ainu team than the 7th
because he wants to
division.
get back to his roots, you know? So it's getting back to the hunter spirit. And I think he still more or less wants to get that wolf, though. He's like, I'm still going to get that thing.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a background motivation for him. But I feel like that was a very quick episode. Like, it's just bam, bam, bam.
It really is. Because it's just like, you know, like the war changes people, you know? That's why he called him a soldier. He's like, you're not a hunter, you're a soldier. Like, you need to get back to your roots. You're getting soft. You're getting, you know, you should be seeing these things. Because while they're hunting elk, he's kind of showing them his mistakes or whatever. Or, you know, showing them, like, what should be obvious to him.
It's like, hey, you overlooked this.
Yeah. And that's basically all it was. Until the end. And then it's like, you're a prisoner. Take his skin.
Yep.
But they don't. And then that leads us into our next episode, which is kind of we kind of hop from place to place after we get past the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, once we have like the whole cast of characters, now it's like, okay, now we're gonna go
after episode 5. It's like boom, 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 boom. We gotta move.
Right. Here's what's going on with Sugimoto and a Sherpa. Here's what's going on with Ogata. Here's what's going on with Sarumi. Here's what's going on with Hijikata. And you're like, but I wanted to hear more about this. Don't worry, we'll come back to it. We're going to talk about this now. But, nope.
Yeah. So at the end of that, last episode, like, he basically, Genjiro starts living with the Ainu villagers from a Serpa's village.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so we open up episode 8, and Shiraishi is separated from the group and is being chased through town.
By this big man.
Think Alex Louis Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist, and then give him a sawed-off rhino horn. Yeah. That is this dude. Yeah. He is like twice as tall as any other person on the screen.
This guy is like 10 dudes. Jeez.
Yeah, and apparently was a ex-prisoner. Yeah. So that's why he realized Shiraishi is like, hey.
Yeah, this guy is called Ushiyama.
And he is
undefeated.
One of my favorite characters in this one. Dude is just a bull of a human.
He's a man's man for sure. Like, he is just pouring testosterone 24/7. Just sweats it, permeates it. It's in that vicinity of his presence. It's testosterone.
And I'm pretty sure, like, when they're running through town, like, he is just destroying stuff. He's like, I am the Juggernaut, bitch.
I remember, like, our introduction to him is, like, he comes out of a brothel and the lady's crying.
Yes.
And that dude and the bodyguard's like, hey, you can't. And he's just like, boom. Yeah. Just slams him. I do what I want.
And so Shiraishi messes everything up because since he can't get help from anybody else, he goes to the goons at the 7 and is like, please save me, I have a tattoo, you can draw it.
Yeah, kind of sells himself. Yeah, just... Yeah, weasel.
And so there's a lot of back and forth with Shiraishi and them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a whole lot of memory of the Sugimoto part of this episode because the other key takeaway from this one for me was the last character finally gets introduced.
Yeah, because Shiraishi gets introduced to another key character is Hijikata Yoshitaki, who's a former Shinsengumi. And if anybody knows anything about Japanese culture, Shinsengumi were samurai police, basically. Mm-hmm. They were sent as select, I want to say hired assassins to get rid of samurai once the shogunate became a thing, or stopped being a thing, I believe. Yeah.
Only we can have the swords.
Yep. So he gets confronted by that and basically is like, he's like, if you give us like the copy of your tattoo and let us know what your group is
right, you're gonna be a double agent now.
Yeah, and report back to me or the big guy.
Yeah, and Hijikata is like the oldest dude of the treasure hunt, white as snow hair,
long beard,
all his hair is long. It's like down past his knees. Like he's just always flowing, epic samurai
has a sword
boy
too, and everybody's like, "Why do you have a sword?" Like, yeah, keep in mind we're well past that period. You know, it came and went. It's all about pistols and stuff now.
Yep, he's like, but I'll still use it. And so we wrap out the episode with Hijikata's group doing a bank heist to steal his personal sword out of the Imperial bank lockup.
Yes.
And that was so much fun.
That was fun.
It was like
how it
just
came
a
together.
small chunk of the episode, but man, it's like a flash in the pan. Like
how a bank heist is supposed to be. It's supposed to be quick, bam, out, go.
You're like, I don't know who this dude is, but I want to know more.
He's impressive. He can be like a main character in any story.
Right, and so we end up basically in a play where our main factions are Sugimoto or Sherpa, Hijikata, and then Tsurumi and the 7th Division. Mm-hmm. And if we're looking at our competition as these two, oh my gosh, Hijikata is exponentially less broken in the brain than Mr. Tsurumi is. Like,
still deadly as heck, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you do that you're just like, oh my god. Yeah. But it's not like Tsurumi where you're like, that was so fucked up. Why? Yeah. Why did I just watch that?
Here's the reason why everybody's getting involved into this too. I feel like I need to mention this before we wrap this or get too far into this. So we know more or less Sugimoto is after the gold because his friend who passed away in the war left behind a widowed wife, and he made a promise. He's like, I want you to take care of my wife. Mm-hmm. Of course, he left the war with nothing, so the only thing he could do to try to help is try to pay him for gold. Mm-hmm. So as soon as he heard about this stuff, he was like, all right, now I know what to do. This is my goal. 7th Division with Tsurumi.
They're trying to plan a coup.
They're a coup because they're tired of being used as fodder for the Russian-Japanese war. Mm-hmm. It's going nowhere. And then
Hijikata's like the anachronistic.
Yeah,
he's like, I want to go back.
Yeah, he's like, I want to bring back the old days. He talks to another old gentleman too, I think, who is a former Shinsengumi as well. Just his years caught up to him.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm either gonna win or I'm gonna go. In which case, I still win.
Right. He's like, I'm old anyway.
I'm gonna win or I'm not gonna be here.
Right. And so, yeah, Hijikata just wants to bring back the old feudal times, the way of the sword again.
Yep. And so these end up being our key factions as we go forward through it. Yeah. We've got Sugimoto wants a good life for him and to fill his promise. Then we've got the I don't want to be cannon fodder coup. And then we want the Brakamade coup. Yeah. Yeah. That's our motivation.
The really deadly cool grandpa squad.
And we get more like personal motivations as we go through like the side quests, which definitely keep you like involved and related. Like especially as we keep going, it's more. I feel by this episode 8, episode 9, we've set up the premise for it.
Yeah, we've kind of introduced everybody's like drive. for this.
And we say this as season 1, and that when it simulcasted 1 through 12 was season 1. And if you go look at the breakings, that's how they would block it out. But this is just like one long story. Once you pick up season 2 at episode 13, it is literally like, and then next happened, no time skip, none of that nonsense.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'll get into that once we hit 12. But
yeah.
we have all of our characters. Hijikata's got his
sword.
sword. Shiraishi's a double agent. We see Ushiyama be a freaking bull through town.
Yeah.
Episode 8 was a blast. So much fun.
Yeah. A lot of action and a small amount of time at the end of that episode. And it leads us into our next one, into episode 9. And our gang gets tipped off that there is a prisoner in the local fishery. But I want to say Nirotara. Yeah, it's Nirotara. Mm-hmm. So we're on the ocean at this point. And they're gearing up to try to find out where this guy is, because he's blending in with the other fishermen, whoever he might be.
This dude is the worst character of season 1. I'm sorry, I'm just going there now.
It gets worse, but for season 1, this guy takes the cake for creep.
Yeah, and it sucks that is not the high bar of this show.
Yeah, no.
This is the training wheels of the show, this freak of a human being. So we go through town. Mm-hmm. We're going down by the docks.
Yes.
Questioning, and we finally find our guy.
Yeah, our guy is kind of acting super sus anyways.
So sus.
And I love how the gang's just like oblivious to how this guy's trying acting. They're just kind of going along with it.
Dude is a masochist with a death fetish. Like, he wants to pick fights, and he's hoping that one of the days he is going to be on the wrong side of the fight.
Can I explain
Please
to them why?
Please do.
And say the reason why this guy has a death fetish is because at a young age, he saw his younger brother get mauled to death by another animal and just watched.
Yeah. It's like, it was so thrilling watching him fight for his life.
Watch the light leave his eyes. And I was just instant this guy's hitting all the check boxes on textbook serial killer right now.
Yeah, I bet he was fond of cats too. Oh my freaking.
So this creep's kind of like a wolf among sheep, hiding in the fishermen and stuff. And he catches wind that people are looking for him. He's like, oh, is it gonna happen? And then he catches Sugimoto ends up helping the fisherman, and Sugimoto gets close to him, and it's because that guy's feeling like a thing from Sugimoto, and then Sugimoto kind of tells him who he is, and I think he learns who he is.
Reputation kind of
precede him. He's like, the immortal Sugimoto, tell me about the wars and stuff, and who you killed. I mean, he's killed a lot of guys at this point, being a former soldier, a famous one at that. And so this guy's like, you're the one. You need to be the one to kill me. So during this whole episode, it is literally in a perverted way. I'm sorry. It's like he's playing the cat and mouse dating game with Sugimoto, trying to get just them two together alone so he could do the deed.
Weirdest foreplay.
Oh man, this knife is super sharp. I wonder if it'll cut through clean. You want to give it a go, Sugimoto? I'm just so disturbed by this.
Oh, and that's the whole episode till we get to the end and they finally square off and we add another to the collection.
Yeah. The dude gets chomped on by a fish, right? A whale takes his body away. Because they were the local Ainu were welling out in the water. That's right,
yeah, they go out in the water.
And then that's when Sugimoto has to kill him, because he's like, all right, I'm going to make you try to kill me then. Mm-hmm. And then Sugimoto's like, fine, you crazy man.
Yeah, because Sugimoto is trying to stay right by a Sherpa and just get the draw. He's like, I just want to see it. Let us get a sketch. We'll be fine. You don't have to. And
Dude's
he's
like, no, you're going to kill me.
The only way you get this is if I no longer draw breath.
He's really hell-bent. And so he gets
And every time he's making a comment, it always does, like, the little sunshine over the crotch thing. Like, it makes sure you as the viewer are aware he is so turned on by this.
Right. Nah, like, as, like, Sugimoto's retaliating and beating the ever-living crap and stabbing him, this dude is, like, hard, you know, like, ready to go. And
say his rigor mortis is probably going to be looking pretty impressive.
As this guy is, like, taking his last breaths, and he's like, yes, this is it. My final breath. This is what it's like. This is what my brother felt. And then, like, literally before the sunshine and rainbows closes out, wham! This guy gets taken by a freaking whale. Mm-hmm. A narwhal, of all things, I believe. and so he's, like, taken out to the ocean. He's like, oh, even better.
And then don't they, like, harpoon him and then do, like, Diddy Kong racing on the ocean with the dang narwhal?
Like they're just like holding on.
Don't let it go.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole episode is a trip. It bleeds dark humor. And I'm sorry if that ain't for you. This show is packed full of it. That, like he said, that is just the tip of the iceberg you're getting into.
Yeah, a lot of the episode titles are naturally topical about the episode. So when we hit this one and it's titled Gleaming, I'm like,
gleaming what?
Are we gonna get to see the gold for this first time? Like what? No.
Yeah, gleaming as we censored this out.
This is a freaking boner joke of an episode.
And that brings us into the next episode where, this is where Ogata learns, like, hey, where's our guy at? He's been gone for a while.
That's right. I was ahead of the game with it. So, after his episode 10, Fellow Traveler. Yeah. So after the hunter experience, Taniguchi went back to a Sherpa's village and was
learn
reconnecting with the Ainu.
Yeah, and help him.
And after a certain number of days resting and recuperating with Grandma, lo and behold, Ogata shows up.
Yeah, because Tsurumi's asking, like, hey, where's the progress?
At? Yeah. Haven't seen him in a while. And so this is the sniper fight. And so he goes into the hut and he's like...
He's tailed with Tsurumi's lackey, too. No ears.
Yep. Him and no ears. And so, like, you can come back or we can mess up the village. Take your pick.
Right. Yeah. Tsurumi wants something out of this, man. I am, what's it going to be?
And so I'm pretty sure Tanigaki's like, well,
I'm staying my ground, guys.
I have 2 bum legs. I have to stay here.
Right.
And so No Ears and Ogata go up in the hills.
I think Ogata was going to tell Tsurumi like some BS story or something, but No Ears is like, no.
Yeah, no, we're finishing them. And
yeah, because No Ears is like, he's in cahoots with the Ainu girl and the Sugimoto. Yeah.
And so after they leave, I'm pretty sure Tanigaki's like...
They didn't leave.
They didn't leave. I'm feeling set up. And so after a little bit, he does the old fake head in the window trick.
Comes through and he's like, all right, get down.
Yep. So then we go into Prison Break number 2.
Yeah, and then there's just a sniper showdown on that one too, yeah.
And earlier when Ogata was in the tent, he took Tanigaki's rifle and dismantled the firing mechanism out of it. So he's like, well, if you're not doing anything, you're just healing, you don't need this. So basically thinks he has the means.
He takes the hammer out of it.
So looking around, Tanigaki's like, well, I still have the one shotgun. So
yeah, from the other Abashiri prince or the hunter, yeah.
Yeah. And so he's like, if I can get out, I can make a go of this.
Yeah, but he's only got the one shot in the chamber because that's all that gun's holding.
And so they make like a smoke screen and he gets out the back of the house.
Well, he gets the villagers out of the way for sure.
Yeah. And then he gets the heck out of Dodge so that they can go square off in the woods.
Right. And I can't remember who it was, but somebody got shot, and I can't remember if it. Yeah, because he had more than the one bullet on him at the time. He had another spare on him that he used, but he was down to the one bullet after he killed that one guy. Mm-hmm. There was some other no name with the group, I believe, with No Ears and Ogata that got shot, and he was, yeah. So he went out to go check him, and that's when the other guy, the No Ears, got wounded.
Yep.
Yeah. So because it's a sniper standoff between Ogata and Genjiro.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, all right, he's got the the high ground. Because Ogata's up in the hill overlooking the village, and Genjiro's out back in the wood line, he's still in one of the huts, but he's trying to figure out like where Ogata is in regards on where he is on the hill. He's trying to look for that flash, that scope flash. He's like, I know he's up there.
Right, and so after the end of a really intense game of cat and mouse.
It goes on for hours because, I mean, they're getting, like, Ogata's, like, even saying, like, oh, man, the cold's setting in, and I'm getting cold. I got to finish this quick.
Mm-hmm. And so...
I think
we have I forget what inspires Ogata to end up shooting first, but Ogata gives away his position for whatever reason.
The reason being is because when What's-His-Face goes out to, and I can't remember what made No Ears go out to it, because Ogata's like, go look, I have to keep point, I got the gun, I'll keep watch over you. Mm-hmm. Because he's gonna have, I can't remember what it is, because he's like, I know he's gonna have to like come out at some point. Lo and behold, a bear comes out and mauls No Ears.
That's right. Yeah. Bear number 3.
Yeah. There's a lot of non-hibernating bears this season.
There's a lot less bears after season 1.
Welcome to Skyrim.
But man, No Ears has a time of the bears season 1.
Yeah, he is getting mauled, and he is screaming like, Ogata, please help me. And Ogata's like, I can't take the shot, dude, or he's going to know where I am. Mm-hmm. And so Ogata's on the fence here. He's like, do I do the morally acceptable thing? Or, like, what am I doing here?
And so he finally...
shoots the bear,
which then Tanigaki sees the muzzle flash.
Boom, I see you, and just
takes his one shot.
Guy dead center in the freaking chest, like kaboom, and he goes flying.
And that wraps the episode, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, that's the end of that.
Tanigaki gets away.
Yep. Never come back around these parts.
Oh my god.
Oh, you want to do this one?
Yeah, I got this one. So episode 11 is...
to 12, kind of, almost.
Everybody, get together. It's a murder hotel.
Welcome to Clue. Who done it?
Oh my gosh. So we're hopping back to the perspective of Sugimoto, Ashirpa, and... Shiraishi.
Yeah.
And we're walking into a small no-name village, and they're looking for lodging for the night, and they've heard rumors that there's this really nice... basically bed and breakfast,
Yeah.
This area is apparently famous. It's like up and coming kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So like, okay, we'll go check that out.
Right.
We've been sleeping out in the wilderness in the winter.
Shirashi's been making money on this side too while he's been gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, we're gonna stay here. We're worth it. And also in this town, we find Ushiyama. So he's gonna be our antagonist for this episode.
Yeah.
And so our heroes and Ushiyama all end up booking
at the same
night
hotel?
at this place.
Yeah.
This place is really weird. There's like hallways that go on forever. There doesn't seem to be enough room.
The eyes on paintings kind of move.
Yeah, there's that. There's something off with the innkeeper lady no one's quite sure of at this point.
A Sherpa feels it.
Yeah, Sherpa's like, there's something up with this lady. All the boys are like
head over heels.
Nosebleed City over here.
Well, it's not until Sugimoto gets a little alcohol on him, he's kind of feeling it a little bit, I think.
Ushiyama has it from the huts from the gate.
Shiraishi's like, oh, yeah.
Well, after the night of drinking, Mr. Bull Ushiyama and the innkeeper sneak away, and we find out the innkeeper is another prisoner.
Yeah.
This is a dude, super dragged up, doing, and we find out that this house is a murder house because she takes human body parts to make cosmetics to make himself younger. Whatever.
Yeah.
So
he hyperfixates on certain body parts or certain aspects of an individual physical appearances.
Yes, and so next up we have like the Scooby-Doo portion of the episode where
there's trapdoors.
Everyone gets separated. Sugimoto ends up in the dungeon, I think.
Yeah, for a while, dude.
Ushiyama's like I am gonna rail the innkeeper, and it's even at the point where. No,
even
that's the end of the episode. I'll hold that one.
No, doesn't he like him and Shirashi end up in the same room, and Shirashi's like, "Yo, dude, I'm not the guy,
not the guy." And so through the course of that interaction, they end up falling through a trapdoor in the hole, and drunk Ushiyama hits his head, and he wakes up in a stupor, and like his sole focus is, "I'm getting the innkeeper."
Yeah, and the innkeeper covers gets blown because the innkeeper is fascinated with the Sherpa's eyes.
Yes.
And is like, I'm gonna get him, and like tries to get him in the middle of the night while Sherpa's sleeping, and that's when Sugimoto's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He's still everybody's freaking drunk at this point still too.
And yeah, so we have our Scooby-Doo crazy house moment.
Innkeeper's like, all right, my cover's blown. I gotta blow up this place.
Yeah, we have our candle knockover. The whole house catches fire.
There's explosives that were down there, I want to say.
They had bought explosives previously.
Oh, yeah, Shiraishi.
Yeah, Shiraishi had bought some explosives just in case and dropped them into the fire and, blew up the whole house. And
that it's on fire. It's falling to pieces. Basically that latter half of the episode is trying to get the whole gang out of the burning inferno house, collapsing on everybody because they're on the very bottom floor.
Yep. And so we run through the burning death house, and our heroes escape, and we're taken to like the morning after.
And then Ushio is like
busts out of the thing with the innkeeper in tow. And
his ass is my woman.
There's a scene where the innkeeper's like, "You know I'm a dude, right? Like I'm one of the prisoners with you." He's like, "Don't care.
You're the most beautiful dude I've ever seen."
And so we wrap episode 11 with a frame ending of Ushiyama going to take his prize.
Yeah. Brings us to episode 12, last episode of the season. Trickster Fox.
We get one last new character drop before we have wrapped out the season.
2, actually.
2?
Yeah, this is where we meet the Russian guy. 2. Garank.
That's right. Okay, yeah. So we got our 2 more main characters coming into this.
This is kind of like a pseudo startup to season 2, I want to say. Because we're introduced to new characters briefly, but we don't get any kind of backstory on either of them, really.
Yes. We start out the episode, we're strolling into a new town. We're looking for rumors on any new prisoners.
They also need to find a way to make money because Shiraishi blew all their freaking money on those explosives.
Yep.
Literally.
Didn't get anything out of that. And so they stumble into town and they see this fortune teller. And she's doing fortunes with like a fox skull.
And I think Shiraishi notices that there's horse betting going on the side. And he really wants to do it. And then Sugimoto's like, "Don't you dare do it."
He's using her to try to win bets.
Yes. And Sugimoto's like, "Oh my God." So,
Yeah, they have a bunch of chaos
she's like
her.
an Ainu, like you said. And
all the boys love her. And once again, a Sherpa's like...
Sugimoto's kind of like flattered. She's got this new character, she's got the hots for...
Yeah.
Sugimoto, because he's got the scars on her face. Incarnate is her name.
Incarnate. Yeah, she definitely has a thing for Sugimoto.
I mean, she is kind of smoking, in my opinion, but, like...
Yeah, she, I feel like all the other dudes but Sugimoto in the party are really, like, She's incredible. I feel like at this point we're starting to wonder if we're gonna ship a Sherpa and Sugimoto. At this point, I feel like is a little bit of the vibe in the party.
Well, I mean, the grandma's like, "Oh, he's a great husband."
Right. Truth.
So yeah, so she's telling them their fortune, and I think she gives them like kind of like an ill fortune on their journey, or about like what
you're gonna have some bad luck ahead of you. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then Sugimoto's like, "Yeah, I've been used to that. Thanks."
Right.
He walks away.
I'm gonna break this luck, whatever.
But Shiraishi's buying into it, and he's like, "Can you tell me what horse is gonna win?" Like,
right. But I mean, I feel like at the end of this ends up being like the closest like slice of life. Like it's just Village. We get the horse race where
he ends up betting on the different horse that ends up, being the.
Because we end up meeting Kira Ronki, who was a Sherpa's father's bestie.
And he's a Russian immigrant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Apparently is a phenomenal horse racer because he ends up entering the episode.
As the jockey.
He finds a Sherpa in the group, in the crowd. They have a conversation, and then he notices somebody mistreating a horse. He's like, cut that crap out right now. And they're like, hey, nobody can ride this horse, and it needs to run the race. Can you do this? And so,
I can get this horse under control. Sure thing.
We've got fortune telling. We've got horse betting. We've got Kira Ronki and Incarnate. And then the episode wraps. It was fun.
Yeah, pretty much like
we don't get really any new leads.
I think the group wins the money though and walks away. And
we fix our finance problem.
Right. Yeah, because they need to get to the next town, which is Sapporo, right? Like, because they're trying to get across to the next town.
Yeah, they're kind of heading up towards northeast Japan at this point. Because all of the next season we end up is like really focused on the next big leg of the continent run, the country run. Yeah,
and that's pretty much it. I mean, the 7th Division and the how'd you call it? Their entail on them as well. So they got via their own means of getting to Sapporo too. They have already had plans in place to go there. So it's kind of just fallen into place of the destiny of like, these three groups are just destined to struggle towards this gold.
Yeah, I'm really excited to take this one to its conclusion. It has been a lot of fun so far. I know this is probably being one of our more messy episodes in regards to working memory with it, but it's a long con. Like each episode you are fully invested in, and it's a good time. But like for me, the story is more memorable across as the whole. Like
it's more about the journey as opposed to the end.
Yes, absolutely, and it's like. The things that stand out to me are like I cannot forget them. Like the first bear scene is just like scarred in my brain. Like,
yeah, it is for me too because I've never seen that animated ever.
Right, and
ever.
then
on that level too of detail.
And then you have the juxtaposition of all the insane army members, the blood and guts and gore of the violence of
the show, and you got a bunch of messed up prisoners that escaped.
Well, and then I was going to say, you have the 180 where I feel like they try to make you have like a reasonable, hearty laugh every single episode.
The exchanges between Asurpa and Sugimoto are
gold. There's a bit where he's trying to convince her to eat miso soup.
Or try miso in the soup. Yeah,
traditional Japanese, they all love it. But the way it looks and its base form reminds a Sherpa of poop.
Yeah, she's like, you eat poop?
And we have a 3-episode arc of a Sherpa learning to accept to eat miso.
Hina.
Oh my gosh, the scene where he puts miso in the soup for grandma.
And Sherpa just loses it. It's like, stick of punishment. She has a stick to beat. Like, if that doesn't sell it, like, they're already, like, kind of a couple thing, like, wife beating her husband over the head, like, cut it out.
You fed grandma poop?
These two are already in a committed relationship.
Yeah, they are such a fun duo. So, you guys might end up being like us, where you'll have things you forget about this, but we took this one when it first came out and kind of stuck with it through hand. Did a rewatch to do this, and there are parts of it I always forget. I always have like gaps at the same points, but the bits that stick with you and the overall story on the whole.
It's like you said, it's about the journey, man. Like this is all this craziness is going to tie up in the end.
Yes, and I feel like with how massive the cast of characters there is and how they give each of the different parties enough attention. Yeah, like it's not like just, oh, here's your fairy tale list of characters. Here's fire guy, ice guy, psychic guy, blah, blah, blah. No, like everyone has a plot and it's always like moving pieces like, oh crap, and now he's doing this, which is going to affect this guy's plan.
Have kind of a valid reason to do this.
Yeah, there's not really, aside from the fact that Sugimoto's just amazing character.
Right.
There's not really like a party I'm really rooting for more than the others. I would prefer it if Tsurumi's group didn't win just because of...
he's just nuts, man.
I'm not going to talk about that guy yet because he is literally episode 13, but... Yeah,
Tsurumi... honestly...
Tsurumi's insane.
It would have been interesting if Hijikata did it, though. Like, his, like, feudal... Like, because there's been tons of, like, movies about, like, people in Japan clinging to the feudal, like, times of Japan. They're just, like, it used to be, you know, make more sense. Now everything's all over the place. You know, just kind of how times are advancing. Like, I get why Hijikata's doing what he's doing, too. Because he came from a time where, like, people with those swords were well respected.
Yeah,
like
you had a purpose.
Yeah.
So, with that, I think that is our wrap of Golden Kamuy.
Yeah.
Next week, we are going to step into Mechland. I have been eagerly waiting for that.
Scratch this itch.
So,
building.
hoping to do a little better next week than I did this week. We're going to keep it under wraps and just let it be a surprise.
The next one we chose out was kind of like a kind of thing too. So,
and this one is one of the few, like everything we've done to this point, I've kind of seen 2, 3, 4 times already. So
you've only watched this the
this one
time.
I've just done the once, and it was during like one of the worst parts of my life. So it is going to be practically new for me. I remember the mech. That's it. I just remember the mech.
I just remember awesome robot. Planet, all water.
Yeah. Water planet, cool robot, let's go.
Yeah. And yeah, it'll be like a new thing for me too, I'll be honest. I really don't remember outside of that. I remember there's like some stuff like that is just like conspiracy just happening. And just like, my world has been flipped. But yeah.
Well, with that, we're wrapping for this episode. If you could, take the time, go hit that like and subscribe button. Jump in the comments. If you've seen this one already, please tell me your personal favorite anecdote from it.
Yeah, definitely.
If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. It was too much fun. That
definitely will be a blur.
Yeah.
For sure. You'll just be like, what a ride. And you probably just, like Eddie said before, this kind of doesn't get chopped up. You're probably going to be like, I'm committed for the full ride, and you're probably just going to go past episode 12, to be honest with you. Like, I have a fair amount of confidence that a lot of people are just going to be like, I'm going to let it ride.
Super bingeable.
And,
but yeah.
Sorry about episode 13 in advance.
With that, this has been Brotaku Retrospective hitting season 1 of Golden Kamuy. I am Eddie Priels.
I'm Clinton Tospin.
Have a good one, everyone.